What up, SGK users? Poke here, and today we are going to be making a true first-person character that is modular. We're going to go ahead and use a metahuman, because that's what I have as a modular character. Should work with pretty much any modular character you may have. So this is basically what you're going to end up with. There is the finished product. As you can see, we have our metahuman, and our aiming is not going to be. We have a little bit of sway here. That's just part of the animations. It'll be up to you to decide if you want to add some kind of hold breath feature, something like that, to pause the sway in the animation. We're not getting into that. I'm just going to get you to this point right here. So you have a modular character that has pretty decent aiming. The only real thing that's kind of weird is the leaning for the aim is not exactly right when you go to the right. It's not too bad, but it'll still, what's going to happen, that's way off. If you notice, the bullet is hitting where the iron sight was. It's not going towards the crosshair dot like it normally would. So that's one thing that you're going to be pretty close with the crosshair on this. Not exact, but the leaning is the only thing that's an issue. I'm sure somebody will figure out a way to make that better. But anyway, let's get started. So first thing we're going to do here is open up our character. So survival game kit, blueprints, characters, SGK Master Character. And the first thing we're going to do is the obvious thing, is go ahead and delete the first person body, the first person camera, and the first person arms. So now all we have is the mesh, boom, and third person camera, throw point, and this arrow component. And if we compile this, we're going to get all kinds of errors, but that's fine. So it'll help us to find what we need to delete. This part right here, the way it was set up originally, when you crouch, because the arms were the first person camera was attached to the arms, and what this did was actually move the camera when you crouched. The camera is now going to be attached to the character, so we don't need to worry about moving the camera, so we can just delete that part. This part we don't need also. This is also related to crouch camera movement. Oop. Go back here. We'll just put our third person camera here. So, this one we can go ahead and delete. It changes the camera when you lean. Again, the camera's attached to the character now, so we don't have to worry about that. This, go ahead and put the third person camera there. These three nodes we can just delete. This we already fixed, and that one too. Camera crouch, this right here. So we'll just bypass this set play rate section, because again, that's for the camera and the timeline that we deleted a minute ago. So what we need to do there, and then also we need to go in here to interfaces, character, and SGK character camera. Delete the select node and just plug in our third person camera. And what this is going to do is any time that this character camera is called anywhere in the project to do any settings on the camera, it's going to do it to our only existing camera. And obviously our cam boom as well. So next, mesh, SGK get mesh. Just going to go ahead and actually we'll just go ahead and delete the select node on here as well, because we only have the one mesh controlling everything. So alright, so that's pretty much it on the character for now. If we go play, as you can see, it kind of works, but not really. We only have the one mesh, but it's not visible when we change the camera. and the camera's not really moving. Alright, so let's go ahead and fix that real quick. And we're going to do that by going to the components, BP character component, up here in the functions, camera, enter first person camera. We're going to go ahead and just, for now, we're just going to move this out of the way. Plug that in. Then same for this, but we want to keep this one right here, the update owner visibility. That is a separate function that controls the clothing and your weapon visibility in first and third person. And some things we don't want visible in first person, like if you're wearing a helmet or let's say sunglasses, you're not going to want those visible in first person because they're going to block the camera view. So we want to keep that node, and we want to get rid of the camera activation. It's basically switching between first and third person camera. We only have one camera anymore, so we don't need that switch. But we do want to still keep this because we need to know when we're going into first and third person for other functions. So, same thing in third person. Remove these. Keep that. Remove. I don't know why it didn't take all those with it, but whatever. So, and that's pretty much all we need to do in here for now as well. Or actually, there's one more thing we need to do. We need to go into the blueprint section, other, interfaces, and in here, BP SGK character interface. I'm going to add a new function. We'll call it SGK set camera. Didn't need to capitalize the set, but oh well. We'll call this camera view, or camera type. And then we'll set this to E_camera type. All right, then back in the character component, we want to go to the event graph. And where is it? Is it on begin play? No. No, it's not in here. We're going to be in here later, but we'll... Where is this? Or is it on the character? Give me a moment here. Well, here, let's just do this. Yeah, it's on the character. We need to go to the character. And from here, we're going to do a switch on camera type. Now, we need to set this. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, here we go. It's in camera, right here. This is where we want it. So right here, in the character component, we want our SGK character node. Then we want to give you SGK set camera. Let me just go like that. That's annoying me. I need to fix that. If it'll let me. It's probably going to say it's already using that name. Oh, no, we're good. Alright. Alright, so we've set our SGK set camera here. So whenever we change camera, that's going to trigger this function. And then our master character here, what we're going to do is create a timeline. Now you can do this without a timeline. You could just have it switched instantly between them. But I like a little bit of a, oops. I don't like the instant thing, so we're going to do it like this with the timeline. You could bypass what we're doing in the timeline and skip to what comes next. So we can add a float track here, and we'll call this arm length. We'll add two keys. One at 0 on the timeline. Well, whatever. And we're going to go ahead and set this initial value to the same as our arm length here, which is 220. And then for the second one, we'll leave it here at 0. Put them both in view here. Now, if you leave it like this, it's just going to go zzz right into it. You can add a curve to it with like an auto curve, and it kind of like, I mean, it smooths it into the thing. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. Play with it, do what you want. I'm going to add one more float track here. We're going to call this the offset. And then we're going to add two more, a key here, 0, and our socket offset here on the camera boom is 30. So that's what we want our value here to be. And then we want another key at the end, 0.25, and that's going to be 0. And we can also add a curve to that if we want. All right, back to the event graph. Grab our camera boom. Set arm length. That goes there. And then just go ahead and duplicate that guy. And let's do socket offset. We'll just split the strut pin and hook it. We want it to the Y. All right, and one other thing we want to do here is from this, we want to add a reroute. And another one. We want a greater than and a less than. This will be for hiding the head later. I mean, we can hide it now by doing it by bone, so let's go ahead and set that up anyway. That I'll probably forget later and not be able to figure out why the head's doing weird things when we switch to modular, but that's all right. So put this here, and then we'll do unhide for the top one. It's going to be head. Oh, no, we don't need that. We need hide bone by name. And that's also going to be, oops, also going to be head. And we'll set this to like 200 so that we'll, let's see. Actually, I think I have it backwards. Let me see. Take a look at the other one here. Greater than, yeah, this is right. So we'll see if it's, yeah, this will do it sooner. So we'll set that at 35, and we'll set this to like 200. And now, when we change our camera view, it's actually working. We're changing the camera, but it's not showing you the head thing right. So let's go ahead and just do this. Let's try it this way. Yeah. So that's what we're adding this for. If we set them both to 35 right here, you're never going to see that transition where the head disappears. All right. And we're actually going to change that when we get to modular anyway. So that's pretty much it. That's the basics. We have our character. There are things that aren't going to work right now. Like we're not going to be able to hold the weapon. And we can also fix the camera location by setting the camera boom to the head socket. Or head bone, and then resetting the transform. And then now when we're in first person, the head, like you're looking down, it's a little more natural. And you could always adjust its location here, or you could add a socket to the skeleton and then attach the camera to that socket. Or, well, we could attack it, let's say hand. You could attach it to a socket, or you can just move it if you need to. Just with the, when you attach it to a socket, you have a little bit more fine tuning, I feel like. But this is fine for now. I'm totally have no problem with this. So let's go ahead and fix the weapons, or holding the weapons. In that, we need to go into our animations, notifies. We're just going to open up every one of them. We don't need to edit every one, but I don't remember exactly which ones we don't need to edit, so we're just going to open them all. And what we're doing is we're going into the receive notify function here, and we are deleting this section right here. Because it was set up with 3 different meshes before, without this, you could have 3 notifies going off, so that's why that's here, I would assume. So I'm like, yeah, this one we don't need. It doesn't have it, so we don't need to edit that one. But any of the ones that has this mesh component, get component by tag, or component has tag and then branch, we need to get rid of that and bypass it. And once you get to the disabled, the hand IKs, we can just go ahead and delete this too, because we're not using the first person animation anymore. Alright, now that we've edited all of our animation notifies here, we should be able to actually hold a weapon now. Yay! Alright, so if you notice when we go to aim, there's a little bit of an issue here. Looks fine in third person, but first person is obviously an issue. So I'm going to take a quick little break and then we'll get to that. Alright, we're back. And we'll go ahead and just save these real quick. And again, we're on to our weapon here. So let's go ahead and we want to go into SGK, blueprints, items, holdable items, and we want our master range weapon. Alright, so anybody ever notice this on, see what my mouse is doing there on the thingy there? It's a new little interesting bug with UE 5.6. Doesn't do it on all of them. It's like it can't decide whether to pop the tooltip or not. And you also usually have to click on it several times before it actually opens. But anyway, let's carry on here. First thing we want to do is go into the event graph, and then we want to go to aiming. And we're going to zoom into this one right here, SGK server secondary action. I'm going to go to the end of it here, and we're going to go ahead and get a character component. From that we want camera view. We're going to do a switch. We could actually just do an equals on this, but we'll just use a switch anyway. Go ahead and duplicate it. Alright, and then what we want to do is get our SGK character. And then we're going to character camera. SGK character camera. Doesn't matter what camera because we're not really interested in that. We want the spring arm. And then we're going to go ahead and get socket offset. Oops. Get socket offset. I'm going to go ahead and promote that to a variable. And we will go ahead and just call that, what do we want to call it? We'll call it the save socket offset. That'll work. All right, we're going to go ahead and create another variable off this. And we'll call that our aim socket offset. So we're going to set our socket offset, save it. And we're actually going to disconnect this right here. And delete that. And then from here, we're going to drag out again and we're going to set socket offset. And then we're going to plug in our aim socket offset right here. All right, so basically we're saving the current socket offset, and then we're going to set it to whatever this socket offset is. And we'll go ahead and make this one instance editable. All right, and then we can go ahead and copy that, and that, duplicate it. Oh, I guess I didn't get the, oh wait, yeah, here we go. Oops. And then we can plug our saved socket offset into this one. We'll go ahead and put this in a do not edit folder because we don't need to change that. So now, well, actually right now nothing's going to happen because we didn't change anything on this. So what we do here is we go to our M4 and we have our aim socket offset here. These are the numbers that I found seem to work pretty good for the M4. Each weapon's going to be a little bit different probably. That's why we made this easily editable here. And these are the numbers that seem to be about right for the M4. And what that's going to do now is when we are on first person and we aim the weapon, it's going to line it up pretty much almost centered. We can see just how far off it is by going to blueprints, widgets, BP, inventory HUD. Just click on the main part right here and then show crosshair and aimed. And just in case you're curious, if you wanted to just not have a crosshair period, you can do that right there. No more crosshair ever. But yeah, right now we want it there in aim so we can see exactly how far off we are from center. So now when we aim our weapon, as you can see, it's pretty darn close. But we have this sway. And again, that would be up to you if you wanted to add some kind of like a hold breath feature or something like that to make it line up perfectly and then stop moving. But this works pretty good. But there is one issue with this right now. Let's go ahead and put a backpack on. We need some space. Grab a mag. Grab some ammo. Load the mag. Reload it. And We'll wait till it's a little bit pretty far off. If you notice, the bullet is, it's hitting where the crosshair is pretty much. Which is cool if you want like basically like auto aim, but it doesn't look right from this perspective, so we can fix that if you want. So we're going to go back to our master range weapon. And we back here still in our aiming function. Is it aiming? No, it's where is it? It's in shooting, projectile calculation. So the way this is working is it does a trace from the barrel of the gun to the center viewpoint of the character. And then that's the rotation that it adds to the projectile when the projectile is spawned and fired. So what we need to do is this end location variable right here. We need to do a reference. Wait. Find references. We're not worried about the sets, but we want to check the gets. This one we don't really care about. That's just for the debug. But this one, any of these ones that have the find look at rotation, what we're going to do here is this. From our bullet spawn location, we're going to get our world rotation and replace this value. Just going to move this out of the way for now. In case you don't want to do this, you can set it back to that. So that's what we want to do, is we want to find all the gets that have a find to look at rotation connected to it. Move it out of the way, drag from here, get world rotation, and change the return values there. Hit scan traces. What is this doing? I guess that's if you, because you can use projectiles or hit scans. You'd probably want to do the same thing, just the end location. As you can see, it's getting the aim rotation. So what you could do is probably from here, you could probably even just get the skeletal mesh, get its forward, or get the bullet spawn location as we did before, get its world rotation, and replace that. I think that would work. We're not using hit scans, so we're not too worried about this. This, I believe, should work, but that'll be up to you to figure out if you want to go the hit scan route. If you don't know what hit scan is, differences between that and projectile. Projectile moves at a certain speed. A hit scan is basically instantaneous. So no matter how far away you are, the bullet's going to hit you pretty much at the same time. So, but we're not worried about hit scans. Projectile calculations is where we want to change all of our find look at rotations to the get world rotation of the bullet spawn location. Okay? So now it's still not going to work right, but I'll show you why. Bullets are shooting off to the left, so it's an easy fix. Go to our master range weapon, And our bullet spawn location, basically, we want our red arrow to be facing down the Y. So we can just rotate it, rotate it 90 degrees. Boom, bada bing. Oop, gotta reload first, it helped. Alright, so now as you can see, the bullet is basically hitting wherever our iron sight was when we pulled the trigger. So, up to you how you want to do it. If you want to use this so it's more realistic. Because if you've ever actually shot a gun, unless you're sitting on a bipod, there's going to be sway no matter what. Even if you hold your damn breath. But so, there we go on that. So something didn't look right there. What's going on? When I unheld the weapon, or unaimed. Oh. Alright, well, seems working fine. Like that. Maybe I was just seeing things. Alright, so anyway, that's that. And there's one thing here, if we'll notice. Grab a weapon. Backpack. We'll grab a sight. Put the sight on the gun. Everything's good there. But here we're way off. To fix that, what we're going to do is go to our attachment items. And get into the red dot sight. And we want to set show inherited variables. Go here to camera. This ADS camera transform. That was something that was being used with the old system that we have bypassed. But we can still use this. So what we're going to do is we can still use this. And the way we do that is, let's see, where was that? Where did I set that? Oh, okay. It's in. I need to go. Come on. Back to our master range weapon. Aiming graph. The second to last event section here, or sequence. We have a get sight details. I'm going to open that up. And we want to go to the very end here, drag that out. Just add a reroute here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our aim socket offset, set it. Stupid cat. Alright, so from here what we're going to do is on our red dot sight, like I said, we have this ADS camera transform. Master weapon already has a link to the site, so we're just going to copy that. Paste it right there. We want to get the ADS camera transform. Then we're going to do a find from here. And we're going to grab this skeletal mesh up here and put it right here. But we need to do this. We need to drag out from here and get skeletal mesh asset. It has to be this green one. This guy, he's deprecated. Oh, it's not giving the error. Hey, this one, it usually gives a... Oh, it's because it's not connected to anything. But yeah, you can't use this one. It's deprecated. It's going to be gone soon. So you want to get this get skeletal mesh asset little function. Plug that in. And what that's doing is it's looking at the site through this variable right here. It's going, hey, okay, it's this mesh right here that we have right here. So we're going to use these transforms here. And the 0 is going to be, or the X is going to be 0, because we're not, that'd be basically moving it forward or backwards. We just want to adjust the camera to the side. I mean, you can adjust that if you want. If you feel it's too far away or too close, you can adjust that there as well. But I think it's fine the way it is. So we're just going to adjust the Y, which is going to be the same as the weapon. Now every weapon is going to be different. That's why we made this. You can add any weapon you want here. So like the shotgun's different as well. But anyway, with my testing, what I found is 5.5 seems to be about right for this red dot on the M4. So we'll go ahead and set that. And then we need to go in here. And from our site, we want a is valid, because we don't want it to be setting this transform. It's going to find a blank transform and basically set 0 if we don't have a site. So we want to bypass that. Let's go ahead and move all this down a little bit. And we can move this back. So what we're going to do now here is break this. And hook up the location. That's all we want. And now when we aim, what it's going to do is it's going to set the camera's offset to whatever we have set in our sight's offset right here. So you remember how it looked before, where the crosshair was basically in the middle of the sight. And it's still like right here with the standard weapon, no sight. It's perfect. Pick up our sight, put it on. I don't know why it has to do it twice. It's just something needs to be reset somewhere. But now it's right where it should be. And the bullet's going to go pretty much where the red dot is too. Believe it or not. So yeah, that's pretty darn good if you ask me. And then now let's go ahead and take a look at the shotgun. So we need to set an offset on it, so let's go to the shotgun. And what I found works pretty decently is 10 and -1. So that's pretty decent. Now, what you could do is I don't know if you could get this to fine tune with those adjustments, but on the shotgun, you do have our layers, animation layers, where you could do the fine tuning on that. It would have to be on the third person animations. Oh, it's the IKs, the hand IKs. You could fine tune it to get it so that the front bar or front sight post lines up in the middle of the peephole by adjusting the hand IKs like you normally would through Diffuse's tutorials on how to add weapons and adjust the aiming system. So we're not going to go any further than that on the aiming. It's pretty good to me. Like I said, if you want to make the shotgun to where it's lined up, you could use the layer to just kind of rotate the hand IK a little bit to where it lines up. So next we're going to go ahead and make this into a modular character. But again, I'm going to go ahead and take a little break here, so we'll be back. Alright, we're back. We're going to take another quick look at the hit scan traces here. And just if you didn't, another good example of how hit scan works, if you ever played Quake 2, 3, or 4, the railgun is a hit scan weapon. Basically, no matter how far away your enemy is, whatever speed they're going, whatever direction they're moving, if your crosshair is on them when you press your mouse button, they're going to get hit with that slug, as opposed to like a rocket, which is going to take some time to get there. So rocket's a projectile, a railgun, slug is a hit scan. And I think what we would do here, probably the best thing to do, is change this get camera location, because this is the starting point. So what we could do is probably just go ahead and get our bullet spawn location and get world location. Plug that in right there. And I do believe that would probably do it. I'm not exactly sure how to test it. Let's see. Hit scan. Projectile. You know what? I think it's on the item list for the ammo, maybe? Ammo details. Projectile. Yeah, if you don't have a projectile set, then I believe that it uses the hit scan. So let's go ahead and try that out. Well, that's kind of weird. It's still going to the crosshair. Oh well, hit scan's on you to figure out. We're using projectiles. And that should be it. That's all you have to do to change it between hit scan and projectile. And his head moves quite a bit on that reload. That's kind of weird, but oh well. So now we're back to hitting where our iron sights are. Alright, so let's go ahead and make this sucker modular. Alright, you have two choices here. You can either use the N-Engine Metahuman Creator, which personally, I'm not... The presets on it kind of suck. They're ugly. I don't know how else to put it. But you can also still use Quixel Bridge, which is what I'm going to use. If you want to get some good information on making or doing stuff with, let me see, I have a link here. Why is that open? All right, let's see here. All right. This guy, Nova Effectus, he's got some great tutorials for metahumans in 5.6. A lot of cool things. But yeah, this guy's got some great videos. I should definitely suggest checking him out. And he can show you how to set up a metahuman in the Metahuman Creator in 5.6. Like I said, we're just using metahumans from Quixel Bridge that I already have, or we can just use a preset too. Doesn't matter. I've already downloaded it. Then I exported the body into Blender, cut it up into pieces, and re-imported it. You can actually do that in Engine now in the modeling tab. It's actually got a lot of stuff in it. I haven't used it too much, except to make clothing work on metahumans, which the Nova Effectus guy has a good tutorial on that, how to fit pretty much any clothing to metahumans. And you don't really need to worry about using the metahuman like character that is created with it, or setting the clothing to specific things, because the way SGK works is with the leader pose component when it adds a piece of clothing, so it'll automatically make that clothing fit as best it can. But you still need to, like, let's say the arms are at a different angle on the T-pose. You need to make that work through the modeling section. But SGK will take care of, like if you have a fat character, it should automatically expand the clothing item. You don't need to worry about that if you watch Nova Effectus's video on modifying clothing. You just need to watch the part on how to resize it and move it around to fit properly. But anyway, back to ours. We have imported some arms, feet, hands, legs, pelvis, torso. I also exported the face and took a section of the neck off of it. And that is so that when we change into first person view, when we look straight down, normally we would be looking into that view right there, basically. So this little neck piece is going to cover a good portion of that. So, all right, first thing is go to our character, and we're going to go ahead and start just add some meshes. We want one, I think we need 7. Oops. One more. All right, so good arms. You know what? Let's do it this way. We can rename it over here. And while we're at it, we can do another step. I'm going to look for component tags and put that in there too. We need to do that to all of our pieces here. You'll see what that's about later. All right, so we got torso, legs, arms, we need hands. Feet. Pelvis. I renamed it in the wrong spot. Oops, and I spelled it wrong too. Oops. It's late. I had a few beers tonight, so. All right, what else we got? We got arms, legs, torso, hands, feet, pelvis, neck, and face. Alright, and let's go ahead and on our character, metahuman character, let's copy, go into here, and we're going to go ahead and copy our groom bindings. And we might as well get these too. Copy all that. We want these to be on the face. Okay. And we have our groom assets there. And then we're going to go ahead and go, let's see, we want the hair load set up. So we'll copy that function. And begin play. Just add it right here. Oops. Oh, okay. Well, it added it. That's good. Create these two variables. Go back here, and then we can put this here. All right, and then let's see, what are those variables? And we'll get this one too. Oops. In case you didn't know, you can highlight something, shift, right click, copies it. Shift, left click, paste it. Compile it, and then we want this to convert to material instance dynamic. Just paste that in here. And then that was called here on the construction script. So we'll copy these right here. Just these nodes. Oops, construction. All right, we're going to be adding some more to this here in a minute, so we'll make a little space right here. All right, so that should take care of the hair once we have our meshes in place. All right, so go back to our parts here. Torso, legs, arms, feet. Wait, that's hilarious. How did I get those on the feet? Those need to be on the face. All right. Feet. We got feet. Arms, legs, torso. Hands, we need hands. Pelvis. Oops. And neck. And then also the face, which is going to be in our character. And we want to set this to face and MVP. Same thing with the neck. All right, and if you notice, the head went up and it changed the size of it. It's because when it's using the face and animation blueprint is using on here. It's getting the copy pose from mesh. What that does is it basically it applies your mesh to the mesh that is the main mesh, which is our mana character here. So for a female, if we change this to Quinn, makes it a little bit shorter, and it's going to make all of these meshes fit better to it when we add this node right here, which is going to be a, what is it? Set leader pose component. We want our leader pose to be that mesh. Then we need everything else. And those all get plugged into here. And now you'll see when we compile it, it's going to stretch to the mesh. So it's not bad when you're using the, like this is a tall character. I mean, you really don't notice any stretching on it when you see the actual character. We're going to go ahead and do this too. We're going to set Quinn to be not visible and also hidden in game. And we also want to find shadow. And untick that. Then we want to go ahead and make sure that all of our parts here, we actually don't need to worry about neck, we just need everything else. And then hair. All of those, we want to make sure that they cast a shadow. Then we also, actually we only need to worry about these two. We want to set them to hidden shadow. Because at some point we're going to be setting one or both of those to hidden, but we still want the shadow to be visible, depending on the scenario. And speaking of which, we also need to go into our groom components here and set tags in there too. Because at some point you're going to want to hide certain groom components. Like let's say you're wearing a bandana, face mask like Daisy or something, you'd want to probably hide the beard and the mustache so it doesn't poke through. And then also wearing a helmet, of course you're going to hide the hair so it doesn't poke through. Some of these you'll probably never use, but might as well just have them there, just in case. Better to have and not need than need and not have. Alright, so that's all set. And now if we go play an editor, we have our character, but we have some weird shadows going on with the hair. That is because what's happening when we zoom in is that it's shrinking the bone, and as you can see our head, it's like the guy from Beetlejuice. So what we can do to fix that is go back to our character here. And we want to go to our event graph. And right here we want to go ahead and delete those. Delete that. And we want face. And we want to go ahead and set hidden. This one should be unhidden. We want to tick propagate to children because that way it will also take care of the head or the hair and the eyebrows, mustaches, all of that as well. And that one hidden. And then now, yeah. So now we still have our head and hair shadow and all that good stuff. Now it's a little gap with the character there. That might be something that might be fixed with the new Metahuman. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. Holding a weapon should still be standard. Yeah, everything's good on it. You might want to adjust the third person layers to move it down a little bit. But it works. Now, another option that you have here is you can create a new animation blueprint set up to the metahuman skeleton. Go in here and do a retarget. Pose from mesh. I don't think there's a retargeter here. You can make one, I guess. So animation, retargeting, we want an IK retargeter. We'll call it RTG Manny to Metahuman. Yeah. I always forget which way it goes. If this, which one's the rig to copy animation from? Okay, so that's going to be IK mannequin, which should be Manny. Yes, it is. And then use that there. I think that's all we need to do. We can set our IK retargeter aster to that guy. And set that up. Compile it. And then what we need to do is go back into the character. Construction script. Oops, that's not it. Disconnect all that. You know what? We never reconnected that, but that's alright because it still worked. Not even sure that 100% sure that's necessary. And then, so we got rid of that. Now we're back to a T pose. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and move the face. We'll go ahead and just put it on the torso. Same with the neck. And as you can see, it dropped it back down into position. And if we make Quinn visible again, we're back to normal size on the metahuman, but obviously we're not moving at all. But what we can do is select everything except for the face and neck and set our animation blueprint to our ABP metahuman. And no, that's not working. I'm missing something. Maybe it'll work in game. Let's see. Nope. Alright, so maybe the retargeter didn't work right. Let's just try this real quick. I know this one works. It's just, it's off a little bit. Like the hand alignment mostly. So we'll go ahead and reset this back to invisible. And now we're back to a normal size metahuman. There's really only one issue I've found so far with that. And that is that the hand is off. Because the hand's not perfectly aligned with the retargeter. It sets it off like that. Now you could go into the Manny skeleton and adjust those sockets in real time, watching it move to get them lined up properly, and on the weapon as well too. But that's another option you have. And like I said, that one does not stretch out the character at all. It just requires a little bit more work about getting the hands lined up and all that. So that's that. That's your modular metahuman. And then we're going to just go ahead and add one more little feature here. Let's go ahead and we're going to set our character back to, like if you were going to want to do what we're going to do right now, you could just add it in here But I'm just gonna, let's just do that. Screw it, we can do it. It'll work. All right, so first thing we want here is a spring controller. We need 2 of them. And then we want a transform, modify bone. Then we need 2 of those as well. Go ahead and highlight both of those. Then we want it on the translation. We want to unexpose the pin. Same for rotation. Then on scale, we want to set scale mode to add to existing and the scale space to bone space. And then we're going to go ahead and click on this one. And we want our bone to be the pec R. And this one to be pec L. And same thing on these, we want our bone to be pec R. And this one pec L. And you can play around with these settings here. You'll see what it does here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and just set it to what I have that works pretty good. 400 on that one, 10 on that one. And then same for this. And then when I compile this, you'll see what we're doing here. So that's how you can add a little bit of jiggle. Another thing we can do here is promote that to a variable. We will duplicate it. And we'll go to the event graph, delete that. Let's get our scale, we'll set it. Let's make a vector. Promote that to a variable. We'll just call that float scale. This is just so we can see it working in real time, and you could also use this for, say, a UI. I found that, or oops, I'm sorry, we're on a multiply here. I found this works to be the best, adding this multiply right in here. You can do it however you want when you see what it's doing. Oh, we didn't set a scale here. You might have already seen what happened. All right, so zoom back in. So you probably want to have a clamp on it. Yeah. Something like that. And go between like 1 and 3 maybe. Oh, the clamp's not working. What did I do wrong? Maybe it needs to compile first. Yeah, clamp works now, so. Alright, so like you could add this to a slider on your UI if you wanted. You can adjust these how you want, whatever. This is just general information thrown out there for everybody. You can also do other bones as well. Like if you wanted to maybe add a little junk to the trunk, Just have to figure out which bones do that, and add your spring controller to give it some jiggle, and then add your modify bone with a scale for it. And there you go, you're off to the races. Anyway, just remember that with great power comes great responsibility, so use it wisely, people. But I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we went over everything here. And it should, let's see. Yeah, jiggle's working in the game. Now, one thing, it's like, I mean, that's a lot of jiggle, and it's going in a lot of different directions at once. One thing you can do is go back into your spring controllers, and down here on the filter channels, set it to Z. And I don't know, it seems a little bit better. Not as wild and wacky, but up to you how you want to set it. Again, use that power responsibly. I think that we're pretty much done here with this video. We accomplished everything that we're going for. The true first person, a modular character, and added a little jiggle. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, you know what? One thing. Do you remember we added these tags onto everything? What that's for is, like I said, so if you have a helmet or something like that, in your item list, on your equipment, such as our G4 backpack, if you go into the equipment details here, one thing you'll notice, some things are set to hide in first person. Again, most things you probably don't want hidden. The backpack would probably be fine not hidden, but it might interfere with the camera. You just have to find out. But what you can also do is, let's go ahead and let's see, where's the pants? Pants, what you can do is, we don't want it hidden, and in our hide character component tags, add it, and add legs in there. And then what that's going to do is, when we put on a pair of pants, it hides our legs. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use that with this particular pair of pants, except I think when you put the feet on, yeah, there is a little bit of space you can see right at the bottom of the screen. So yeah, you probably wouldn't want the legs hidden in this particular pair of pants, but like a pair of jeans, yeah, probably, because the skin might poke through. Now, speaking of that Nova Effectus guy also has a body masking for Metahuman's tutorial, which would take care of that as well. So you wouldn't have to necessarily hide the component. The clothing would mask off that part of the mesh. But those are just some options you have here. And then it also works with, well, just for the heck of it, hair. So like for a helmet, you don't want the hair poking through. As you can see, when we put our pants on, our hair is hidden. So that's how you do that. I believe that is absolutely everything. So hope you guys enjoyed the video and enjoy adding it to your projects. Have a great day.